morning, students. Today we will begin with the poem Daffodils. Now this poem you must have already done in your previous classes, but today we will do it in much detail. Now Daffodils, as you know, is written by the famous English poet William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is said to be a romantic poet. Now romantic poet is a poet who talks about nature. So you can say that William Wordsworth is a nature poet. He talks about nature, and he was the first poet who introduced a new style of writing poetry with common language, that is an everyday language, where poets can talk about common people and things. Now, as William Wordsworth was a nature poet, Daffodils talks about the beauty of nature. It is, you can say, an eulogy to the healing power of nature. That is, in this poem, the poet talks about one and the most important theme, that is, man can find solace or he can find peace in nature. If you are disturbed and you just move around in the beauty of the nature, you will have peace. That's what this poet talks about in this poem. Now, this poem is written on the poet's real experience. He is sharing to us how in this poem he got solace or peace in nature, how he found his peace in nature. Now this poem talks about the poet's real experience. He was moving around a park and he was in a pessimist mood. He was in pessimism when he was moving. He was in a sad mood when he was moving around the park. But when he saw the belt of daffodils, when he saw a host of golden daffodils in the park, this changed his mood. From pessimism, the mood of the poet changes into optimism. That is, from sadness, his mood was changed to happiness. And that is what he will talk about in this poem. I'll repeat again, in this poem, the poet talks about how nature has the power of healing a man's disturbed mind and soul. How nature gives peace to any man who comes on her lap. And he further says that he himself was in a sad mood and he was walking along with his sister in a park where he encounters with the sight of the daffodils, and he was so much impressed by the daffodils that he wrote this poem. And his mood when he started walking in the park, that time he was in a sad, depressed mood, and looking at the daffodils, the sight of the daffodils had the power to change his mood from sadness to happiness. So you can say the poem begins from pessimism and it ends on optimism, showing the reader how the power of nature heals the man's wounded soul. Now, this is the background of the poem. As we will be doing the poem, you will come across some figure of speech. Now, figure of speech are nothing but we tell them to be literary devices. They help the poet or the writer to glorify, to beautify or glorify their language, and these literary devices or figure of speech also helps the readers to understand the meaning or to interpret the meaning of the writer's words in a better way. So that is what figure of speech is. So in this poem you have these figure of speeches. Now most of them you will be knowing. Now metaphor is a figure of speech where you do not have a direct comparison, but you have an implied, that is indirect comparison is there between the things, among the things or between two things you have implied or indirect comparison. You do not have direct comparison. Simile is where you have a direct comparison, and as you know you will have the words like as or like when two or more things are being compared. So similarly you will have a direct comparison. You will have words like as or like used when the comparison is done. Personification is when inanimate or lifeless things are given life. That is, when you have a non-living thing personified or non-living thing presented before you as a lively thing. Onomatopoeia is where you have the sounds giving you the sense or meaning. Okay? Imagery is where through colors or through a description the poet tries to create an image in your mind while describing. Alliteration is where you have the consonant sound time and again repeated in a sentence. So these are the figure of speeches which you will come across this poem. Now I'll begin the poem. You can open to page number 26. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Now wandered means roaming around. Roaming around without any purpose. You do not have any reason. You just loiter around without any reason. Lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. Now vales is a poetic word used for valleys. Like you have brook, poetic word used for stream or river. So just like that, vales is a poetic word used for valleys and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Now golden color symbolizes or is a color of richness. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now you come from the beginning. I over here refers to the poet William Wordsworth. Now when you get a question, who is I being referred in this line, you need to write I is being referred to the poet and the name of the poet should be mentioned. So I refers here to the poet William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Now the poet says that I was just roaming around. I was wandering in the park aimlessly. I did not have any idea in my mind that where in the park I should go around. So I was just aimlessly moving around in the park. Lonely as a cloud. Now see over here. As I said to you that when there are words used like as or like and there is a comparison being done, that becomes a simile. So here lonely as a cloud is a simile. You need to write it in your books. Underline from lonely as a cloud and write the figure of speech used there is simile. Now the poet over here, he compares himself to the cloud. He says that just as the cloud moves in the sky aimlessly without any reason, you must have seen the clouds moving on the sky. So they just move around leisurely, freely, without any purpose. They move around on the sky. Similarly, I, the poet, he says that I was moving in the park just aimlessly. I was just walking leisurely on the park. I repeat the first line again. The poet says himself to be moving around aimlessly and he compares himself to the cloud. He says that just as the cloud moves aimlessly in the sky, similarly I was moving aimlessly in the park. Now see the next line. That floats on high over vales and hills. Now that over here refers to the cloud. Now in the second line, the figure of speech used is a metaphor. In the first line, the poet has compared himself to the cloud. In the second line, he compares the cloud to a boat. He says that just as the boat floats on the water or it floats on the sea, similarly the cloud was floating in the sky. The poet says, I was moving around the park aimlessly, just as the cloud moves aimlessly on the sky, in the sky. Similarly, in the next line he says that the cloud, it was moving all on the top of the valleys and the hills, just as the boat moves on the sea. First comparison is a simile, next comparison is a metaphor. First, the poet compares himself with the cloud. Second, he compares the movement of the cloud over the valleys and the hills to the movement of the boat on the sea. So he says, just as the boat moves on the sea, similarly the clouds were floating over the valleys and the hills. Now next, when all at once I saw a crowd, when suddenly I saw a big crowd, a host is again crowd, of golden daffodils. So suddenly I saw in the park, I encountered the sight of golden daffodils in a big crowd beside the lake. Where were these daffodils? They were beside the lake under a tree. fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now you must have seen in an open field, if you have long big grasses, when the wind blows, the grasses, they shake from one side to the other side. So similarly, this big gathering, this big crowd of daffodils which was there beside a river below the tree, then when the breeze was blowing over them, they were shaking from one side to the other side. So the poet over here, once again, I'll explain the first stanza. The poet over here says that I was wandering aimlessly, without any aim. I was wandering in the park, just as the cloud wanders aimlessly on the sky. Then he says that just as the boat floats or moves on the sea, similarly, the clouds were floating all over the valleys and the hills. And I was just looking at this when suddenly I happened to see a host, a bunch, a gathering, a crowd of daffodils. And how were the daffodils? They were golden. Now daffodils were not actually golden in color. They are yellow in color, and when the sun's rays falls on this yellow daffodils, they appear to be golden. So he says that I happened to see in the park a big gathering, a big crowd of golden daffodils. And where were the daffodils? The daffodils were beside a river, below a tree, and as the breeze was blowing over them, they were shaking from one side to the other side. Now, in the first stanza, a host of golden daffodils, still fluttering and dancing in the breeze, is a personification. Here, the daffodils is personified as a human being dancing and fluttering in the breeze. Next, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never, they over here are the daffodils, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. Now bay is a river. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Now see the second stanza. Now he says that just as the stars, they spread all over the sky, all over the night sky, the stars are spread. You cannot say up to where they are spread. They are spread beyond any limit. So similarly, the daffodils, they were also spread all over the park. There was no limit. He cannot see up to where they were spread. They were spread in the park limitless. Just as the stars are spread all over the sky, all over the night sky, and we cannot say up to where the stars are spread. Similarly, the poet says that these daffodils, they were spread everywhere. Wherever his eyes, wherever his vision could go, he could see only the daffodils. They stretched in never-ending line. The daffodils were stretched all over the park. There was no limitation up to where they were spread along the margin of the bay. Now, just as the poet has said in the first stanza that the daffodils were beside the river, below the tree. So, here again he reminds us that from the margin, from the side of the river, the spread of the daffodils began and it continued at a large scale. Where did they stop? The poet could not see. It was wildly spread. 10,000 saw I at a glance, and I think in one stretch I saw 10,000 daffodils tossing their heads in sprightly dance, and I just saw 10,000 daffodils dancing happily in the park as the wind was blowing over them. Now, in the second stanza, first line, continuous as the stars that shine. Over here, the first figure of speech is a simile that is used because, as the poet says, he compares the stars and the daffodils. He says, just as the stars are spread all over the sky and we do not know up to where they are spread, similarly the daffodils are spread all over the park. He does not know where do they stop or up to where their spread is. Now, just in that same stanza, along the margin of a bay is an imagery. Here, you can imagine the flower daffodils spreading from beside the margin, beside the river or beside the bay up to the end of the park maybe. 10,000 saw I at a glance. Now 10,000 I saw at a glance is a hyperbole used here. Hyperbole is an over exaggeration. Exaggeration is when you add or elaborately describe something. You add too much in your explanation, in your you give an elaborate description, that is a hyperbole. So you over here 10,000 daffodils is an over exaggeration, over explanation of the daffodils that the poet has seen in the park. Next stanza. The waves beside them dance, but they again over here is the daffodils, outdid it means defeat the sparkling waves. Sparkling is shining, waves in glee, glee is happiness. A poet could not but be gay, gay is again happy, in such a joyous company. Now joyous is again happy. Joyous company over here refers to the poet. It refers to the daffodils. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Now the wealth over here is the sight of the daffodils. Now see over here. In the beginning, the poet has said that the daffodils were dancing when the wind was blowing over them. Now he says that looking at these daffodils dancing, even the waves, now waves, remember the daffodils were growing beside the river. So the waves will be the small waves on the river. So he says that these waves, they were also dancing, but the waves dancing was not as good as the daffodils dance. The daffodils dance defeated or they overpowered the dance of the waves. A poet could not but be gay in such a joyous company. And then he says that a poet or any man who ever had seen these daffodils enjoying in the nature, this would have brought, the sight would have brought happiness to the onlooker. Whoever would have seen the sight, I am sure it must have pleased the people. I gazed and gazed, I looked and I looked at the beauty, the dancing of the daffodils. what wealth the show to me had brought. I kept on looking at the beauty of the daffodils, the dancing of the waves, the fluttering of the daffodils. I kept looking at them, and I never thought that this sight, what wealth is it going to have in my mind. I never thought that this sight would be like a treasure for me throughout my life. I just thought that this I'm seeing and I was becoming happy. I did not ever think that this sight will be like a treasure for my future. For oft is often, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood. Now pensive means dejected, serious, sad. They over here is the daffodils, the sight of the daffodils. Flash upon that inward eye. Inward eye is in my mind, which is the bliss of solitude. Bliss is blessing. Solitude is loneliness. And when my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So, for oft when on my couch I lie. So, whenever I lie on my couch in vacant, in my free time, or in pensive mood, or when I am sad, when I am free or when I am sad, when I just lie down on my couch, they flash upon that inward eye. The sight of the daffodils appear in my mind, which is the bliss of solitude. And this daffodils sight, when they appear in my mind, it becomes like a blessing for me. It becomes a blessing in my loneliness. It becomes a blessing for me in my sadness, in my gloomy days. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and then suddenly my heart becomes cheerful. When I am sad, when I am lonely, I just lie down on the couch, and the sight of this daffodils reminiscent in my mind. It just comes in my mind. It flashes in my mind. I'm reminded of the daffodils, and then the sight of the daffodils, it brings happiness. It becomes a blessing for me, and dances with the daffodils, and then my heart becomes happy and it starts enjoying the flash of the daffodils that my mind shows. It starts dancing with the daffodils. My heart becomes happy with the daffodils. Okay, that's all in this poem, children. Thank you for watching.